I like the Mounds. I'm not an Almond Joy fan, but I like the Mounds. And the reason I'm in the job because drawing funny books for a living, it's not a real job. It's enjoyment. The only problem with it is deadlines. If you didn't have deadlines, you wouldn't really have to worry about. You could just draw superheroes all day, and it's kept me young, even though my hair is all white. But yeah, it's enjoyable. The thing is, Marvel and DC don't call me anymore. They think they kind of feel I'm overpaid, and they can always find a new hot kid for about 50, $60 a page less than. In fact, Marvel even said to me a few years back, we're not hiring guys at the rates we paid you that I developed over 25 years. So I said, so what do I do? They said you have to reduce your rate by, I think, $35 a page just to keep us in your eye line. Hard to say yes to that. After you've been building up a rate and thousands of pages that you worked on, and I certainly have, at least my name is recognizable to some people. So, but that doesn't matter when they're paying the bills. Marvel back in the 90s, as you guys know, everything was selling 500,000 copies back then in the early 90s. Now I think, things are really slim with them, so they have to take it out on page rates and hire, less. They get a budget per book per month. And if they use a high-end writer, they have to use a lower-end, inker or something to that effect. So it all plays into the game right now.
Well, I'll tell you, to that end, Mark, and this is a discussion that we've had with several guests, as far as to this ilk, what do you think drives that to that degree? Whatever, I guess I ain't got a ring light today. And by that, I mean, like, do you think that the digital market has had a good effect on that? You know what I mean? Do you think that plays in a negative effect? Do you think, and why do you think more than anything, with, let's be honest, comics being more in pop culture than they ever have been? You know what I mean? Comics have never been, and I don't mean comic books. I mean, everyone knows who Iron Man, Captain America, Batman, the Riddler, like the amount of characters that are known by random and people and individuals is far higher than it ever was. Why do you think that hasn't driven the market?
Right. Well, the Marvel Studios, right, has everything to do with, these movies are multi-billion-dollar movies, and the kids don't need to read the comics anymore to do that. And I'll be honest with you, what I remember hearing is that the Marvel Studios don't give the money back to the comic book industry. They can rape and pillage the comic industry for as much product as they want, but they don't have to give back anything. So you think that Avengers Endgame made, I don't know, $1 billion. You're thinking that the comic book part of the business would do well, but there's really, back in when they did the Michael Keaton Batman back in whatever 1980 something that was 89, there was a marketable difference in comic book sales because that was the first one that really people were now going to the 7-Elevens and the bookstores to go buy Batman comics. But and then when the first X-Men movie came out in 2001, I did the Wolverine movie prequel, and it sold about 84,000 copies, which is a light number, but it was a $5 book. So, you can say it was a 250, it was 170,000 copies, or, do the math. But there's no discernible difference in comic sales because of the movies, which is kind of sad. I think they should set up kiosks in the movie theaters to sell the comics. I think that'd be a great idea.